Hi friends, welcome back to my channel. Today I thought it would be fun to talk about some things that I have been loving recently. I don't do favorites videos very often, which is mostly because I am a creature of habit, and a lot of times the things that I am habitually loving and using I have in a project pan. But as I have been stuck inside my one-bedroom apartment, I have been doing a lot of exploration and just testing some new things out and finding how much I love them. And I also realized when I got the thought to do a favorites video that I actually have a few items that I use all the time in the last like 3 months or so and have been freaking loving them, so I thought I would go ahead and share. The first thing that I have really gotten a new appreciation for is my Tati Beauty Textured Neutrals Volume 1 palette. When I first got this, I immediately loved the mattes and the metallic finishes the most in the palette, and the one thing I had sort of in the back of my head known was that I probably wouldn't get very much use out of the glitters because I'm not typically someone who is prone to using glitter. But back in January, I prompted myself to do one eye look using the Soothe column, and I love the look of that glitter on my eye. In fact, out of all of the glitters, I feel like this is the prettiest one. I think it works the best for the types of looks that I go for. But with being stuck inside, some of you have noticed in some of my videos that I was wearing more glitter than I probably have ever worn in my entire life, and all the glitter looks that you guys have seen me do have come from this palette. What I think is so exceptional about this glitter is that it doesn't have really any fallout once it's stuck on my eye. I find that it really picks up quite a bit on my finger, which is the only way I would apply this, and when I pat it on, I feel like it really sticks and holds all day. There is some fallout when I initially apply it because I do put a pretty thick layer on my finger to pat it on, but once I get that cleaned up, it is there for the day. And that's what I really love, because when the Stila metallic, I can't remember what they were called. When those first came out, people were all about them, but I always found, because I have slightly hooded eyes, that I would blink throughout the day, and as it would dry down, it would flake off, and I would just have glitter all over my face, which is really not the look I'm going for. I feel like this doesn't have that problem. I probably still wouldn't wear glitter looks in my every single day-to-day, but like on the weekends and so forth, I really loved playing with this, and I think that it offers a lot more than I initially gave it credit for, and I'm really pleased with it and very much enjoying it. The other makeup item that I have been loving is a recommendation from you guys. When I first started the 2020 year, wasn't sure what I was going to do about a water rim eyeliner. I had finished up the NYX Wonder Pencil, and a lot of you guys gave me recommendations. In the end, I decided to go with the Essence Extreme Lasting Eye Pencil in Silky Nude. I love this formula. It is so creamy. It goes on my waterline so easily, and it stays all day. They claim that it's waterproof, and I very much agree with that. This is just a really silky, almost gel-like pencil. I very much enjoy it. It was pretty inexpensive. It was hard for me to find. I couldn't get it online, and I just happened to be going into an Ulta where I did see it, and I snagged it, and I've very much been enjoying it. I've sharpened it only once because, just like the NYX Wonder Pencil, I am not using this for a very big target area, so it will take me quite a long time to use up, but I'm really enjoying it, and it is way more superior to the NYX Wonder Pencil. I can't remember if the NYX Wonder Pencil was ever that creamy when I first got it because I got it so long ago, but this formulation is very impressive, and I'm super happy, so thank you guys who recommended this to me, because there were a lot of you who did. I have another eyeliner that I have been favoriting and loving from House Laboratories. It is their Liquid Eyeliner Matter Than Matte Liquid Eyeliner in the shade Punk. Basically just a black felt tip liner. I love this. The tip on here is just like the perfect size. It really lays down a very easy, opaque, not too thick line. I definitely think it can get out of hand if you're not careful because the tip is so flexible, but I just love how it looks, and I love how easy it is for me to apply it. It also lasts all day. I feel like a lot of the products from this collection weren't very impressive aside from the glosses and this liner. I definitely feel like even though it's on the pricier side, I would repurchase it because I've enjoyed it, and I've been using the heck out of it, and it seems like it's not at all near the end of its life, and I've been using it pretty consistently for at least I don't know, a month and a half at this point, and I've had it since September, and I favorited it a lot in the fall as well. So I'm really pleased with this and definitely would recommend it. My last product is not a new to me product. It is not a new to the makeup world product at all, but I just couldn't not talk about it because I keep coming back to it, and that is my under eye concealer from Maybelline. It's the Instant Age Rewind Eraser Multi-Use Concealer. They have updated the packaging, branding on it, but everything else has stayed the same. The shade I have is in Fair, which is 110. I think it's the lightest shade that they have. I come back to this all the time. I think this is my third or fourth one that I have purchased, and I'm probably going to use up entirely. What I like about it is I just feel like it is the exact same formulation as the Colourpop No Filter Concealer, but it actually matches me. It doesn't oxidize. What you see is what you get. It's what I have on right now. I have more noticeable under eye circles than I usually do because my sleep schedule has been so wonky now that I'm just basically home all the time and doing so much sitting and not as active as I normally am. So ignore that because there's gonna be no product that can fully fix what I got going on here, but I just like that it does provide a little bit of brightness. It matches what I've got going on with the rest of my face, which has been a problem for me. I've been really struggling to find like a brightening but also appropriate colored concealer for me. So I just feel like this works in so many ways. I know some people don't love the sponge tip applicator. It doesn't bother me because it's just my face using it every single day, but I do know that there are videos that show you how to pop this off if you want. And then lastly, I really love the packaging because the way you click the top part, it moves the product down so that you can get every ounce of product without any fuss. I have been someone over the last 9 months, I feel like, who's been doing a lot of popping out of stoppers. That is great because it lets you get all of the product used up, but it makes it so messy and you have to be so delicate. So I really appreciate it when companies go out of their way to make no fuss, easy to get all of the product out type of packaging, and this definitely checks off that box. I also want to give a shout out to some tools that I've been using that I just think are really awesome game changers for my personal preferences. The first is, again, not a new product. It is this e.l.f. plastic heart palette. It has this Velcro piece so you can basically put it on your hand or your wrist. I don't use that. I just keep it flat on my vanity. But this is really helpful because, as you guys probably know, I do a lot of foundation mixing, concealer mixing. I also use a lot of liquid foundations that have a pump or just squeezy tubes, but I don't want to squeeze them onto my hand. And so this palette is really helpful for that. It's really inexpensive. I've gotten a ton of use out of this. I basically use it every single day, whether I'm mixing foundations or concealers or just squeezing them out. And I find that it's a lot less messy. I used to squeeze stuff onto my hand and I would inevitably knock my hand on something, or I would just have a ton of gunk on here, and it was never that great. So I just really appreciate this, and like I said, I use it every single day, so it's well worth I think $3 I spent on it. I also have a new makeup sponge that I have been loving. Colourpop recently released a sponge collection, and the idea behind the collection was that they had come out with sponges for very specific aspects of your makeup routine, which I think is super unnecessary. I don't think you need 8 sponges to apply your makeup on any single given day. But there was one sponge that I did get really intrigued by, and it was a silicone sponge. Basically, what they claimed was that it has a silicone core. Maybe you'll be able to see it. Oh yeah, at that angle, you can see that it has a silicone core. And they argued that because of this, it would absorb less product, so you would have less waste or less product getting sucked up into the sponge versus being put on your face. I don't know 100% how valid that claim is, but what I can tell you is when I have gone to clean this, I have been able to get the sponge back to its original light minty teal green color. Whereas with my beauty blender, no matter what soap I have used, whether it's Beauty Blender soap or if it's dish soap or whatever it is, I've never been able to fully get that sponge to come back to being pink. There's always some kind of staining. So I don't know if that means that it really is doing less sucking up of product, but aside from that, I just think this is a really nice sponge. I like the feel of it. It reminds me a lot of the red Morphe sponge that I was really into, but I'm pretty sure this is even cheaper than that. So I definitely could see myself, once I'm done with this sponge and then using up a couple of Beauty Blender sponges that I had stockpiled, I would probably repurchase this over the Beauty Blender and over Morphe, which it says a lot because that Morphe sponge I've had my eye on for repurchasing for some time, and I just haven't gotten around to doing it. So big fan of this. And if you're placing a Colourpop order, I would say maybe toss this in if you're somebody who likes to apply their makeup with a beauty sponge, because this is definitely a great option. I also have 2 brushes that sort of caught me off guard. The first is from Ulta. I'm very critical of the Ulta beauty products, and I feel like 1 out of every 15 Ulta products I try from their line I like. The rest are garbage. This brush in particular came in a free like add-on or gift with purchase when you got to a certain like threshold. And so I decided to get it, and it is the Ulta Cheek Brush. Now when I first saw this, I didn't think very much of it, but when I went to apply it, I really love the size of this for my particular like cheekbone area. I feel like it does a really nice job picking up a decent amount of product no matter what blush I'm swirling it into. And I feel like I can just apply the perfect amount. It buffs out really nice. I'm pretty sure these are synthetic bristles, and I don't know if this is what it would have looked like if it were full size. I don't even know if they carry this, but I really think highly of this. And it makes me a little bit more prone to think about the idea that if I had a brush die, I might be willing to explore the Ulta line, because this one has worked so well for me. I have washed it dozens of times and have had no problem with bristles falling out, no problem with any of the pieces of the brush like coming loose through washing it multiple times. And it's just been really useful for me. So again, I would definitely recommend exploring the Ulta brushes. I'm not quite sure offhand what their price point is, but I've been pretty happy with it. The other brush I bought half on a whim, half on a need. I was looking for a new brush to pat my under eye powder. The one that I had from Estetica just broke apart, and for like a 35 some odd brush plus shipping and handling, I just felt like it wasn't worth it. But I've been trying to find something that was dense enough and the right shape, and I hadn't seen anything. But then I was randomly like trolling through the makeup section of Target looking for another foundation when I was away for a weekend and needed to get something fast. And I saw that they had a bunch of the Sonia Kashuk brushes clearancing out. I feel like I see so many times at Target like a full clearance out of Sonia Kashuk, and then like a rebranding happens or like a bunch of new collections come out. I don't really know what goes on with that makeup line, but these were all being clearanced out, and I saw this tapered powder brush. I have never really been drawn to Sonia Kashuk because I've always felt like it was a little pricey for being in Target. And like, I just never saw makeup products in particular that really like spoke to me. But anyways, so as I was walking through, I saw that basically all of the brushes were clearancing out. So I stopped thinking like, oh, what if there's a brush that could replace that Estetica one? And what I appreciated the most, because they have their brushes really heavily packaged up, is that they basically had a like display of just the brush heads. So I was able to look at the brush and see it, and it felt really nice, and it seemed like it would be the right size, so I grabbed it. It was the tapered powder brush, if I haven't already mentioned it, but it looks like this. This is a gorgeous brush. Like, let me just tell you, the weight of this, I never thought I would give a hoot about the weight of a makeup brush, but it just feels like a well-made, durable brush. I also have washed this one a ton and have had no problems with it. And I just feel like it has been perfect for scooping up some powder, patting it off, and then coming up under my eyes. Like, I just feel like it is dispensing the right amount of powder. I think it's very soft. I am very, very happy with this. And while I still am not convinced that I would shell out, like, I think this was originally like a $20 or $25 brush. I feel like that's still too steep. I definitely think that if I were looking to replace a brush and there were some on clearance, I probably would go to Sonia Kashuk, because I have been very much enjoying this brush. All right, now that we're done talking about makeup, I do have 3 sort of like skincare assistants that I want to give a shout out to because they have been awesome. The first is this Cresta Sponge. Yep, I said that correctly. Basically, they advertise this to be an assistant for helping you get masks off your face. I was very intrigued by that concept because I find a lot of times when I'm doing like clay masks, I have to really like scrub and apply a ton of water to get it off of my face when I don't just jump into the shower. And that sometimes deters me from using those masks, or I find that sometimes masks are kind of like slippy and I would just prefer to come in and just swipe it off. So I decided to purchase this. They come in a pack of 2, and I think, gosh, I don't think it's more than $3. I don't remember offhand because I bought these a while ago, but I'm just gonna tell you, this is basically a kitchen sponge that you can get anywhere, cut into a circle, and a little bit thinner than most of the dish sponges that I normally go for, but in all other ways, it really is just a dish sponge. So I don't know if you need to purchase this from e.l.f. or if you could just go to CVS and buy like the 99-cent pack of sponges and do the same job, which I might try doing once I'm done with this. But essentially, this has been so helpful. I can really saturate this and squeeze it out, and like it still absorbs enough water that when I go to swipe it, it really helps loosen the product, and I'm not using as much force on my face. I never thought I'd be somebody who would be advertising a product like this, but I've really been enjoying it. After about a month, I gave the other one up because I figured it was probably time to let it go, and this one is getting close to that 1-month mark, but I use this thing, I swear to God, like 2 or 3 times a week when I do my masking routine. It has made everything more convenient and easier to do. So I would definitely recommend trying this out, or if you're placing an e.l.f. order and you don't want to go through the fuss of like having to make something this size, feel free to order it. Otherwise, you can probably just get yourself a kitchen sponge. The next thing that I have is this sort of random headband from Face Story. I don't know if Face Story is like the only company. They can't be. They can't be the only company, but this is the first place I saw something like this. And it basically is a headband where it has sort of like some pipe wiring in there so that you can twist it and customize it to your own head size. This is vital to me. I don't know what it is. I had one just like this, but it wasn't adjustable. It just was one size that came with a Soap and Glory like Christmas kit that I was given. And I, for a very long time, would wear that and find it to be incredibly uncomfortable because of how tight it was. And I didn't think I was somebody who had a super large head, but apparently I do. But I also, despite not liking wearing that, would wear it 5 days a week when I would do my masks and begrudge myself every time. And yet I was never compelled to like seek something new out and buy it. But then, as you guys saw, if you watched my recent skincare haul, I saw this on Face Story's website, and I found myself being like, this is the answer to all those problems I never like wanted to truly acknowledge. And it has just been perfect. It's so comfortable to wear. It helps sort of keep like my flyaways and baby hairs out of my face that don't quite make it into my bun or ponytail that I'm wearing. And it makes sure that I don't get product like crusted in my hair. So I'm a big fan of this. Like I said, I don't think you necessarily need to buy it off of Face Story. You certainly can if you want to, and I'll link it down below. But if you see something adjustable like this, I would definitely recommend it because it has been a much more enjoyable headband experience for me. The last product that I have is perhaps the creepiest product I could ever recommend, and it's this sheet mask assistant. Oh yeah. This is from Sephora. I was placing a Sephora order, and I like sometimes just scroll through pages willy-nilly from like the Sephora collection specifically, and I came across this silicone sheet mask like holder. Basically, its premise is you place it on your face around your ears over a sheet mask. And it's supposed to help sort of keep the sheet mask really pressed to your face. And it claims that like it'll help ensure that products get absorbed at like a deeper level, or that you absorb more of the product. But I didn't really want it for that reason necessarily. I am somebody who doesn't just like lay flat when they put a sheet mask on. I oftentimes will sit up and read, or I'll watch YouTube videos, or recently I'll do it while I'm playing Mario Kart on my Wii. Like I just don't lay flat. And I find that with sheet masks, especially ones that have a lot of serum in them and are kind of slippy, that they sometimes just start to slide down my face, and it's just a nuisance. Like it just bothers me. So I purchased this, and part of me was like, is this really gimmicky? And then I realized, no, this is perfect. It really does a nice job of going over my face. It fits my face pretty perfectly. I don't know if that would be true for everyone, maybe because it's, you know, silicone, maybe it will be, but it fits snugly on my face. It's not at all painful around my ears or any of that, and it really does adhere the mask better to my face, and there's no slipping. The first time I did this, I literally put this on and then went in the living room to go play Mario Kart with Ben, and he was like, do you have 2 sheet masks on right now? Like, are you double sheet masking? And I had to explain that I wasn't. But it was a really funny moment because he really thought that I had just gone bonkers during this quarantine time. But aside from that, it's been great. Essentially what I do once I'm done with the sheet mask is I peel this off, I rinse it off, and then I hang it on our hand towel rack in the bathroom to just sort of dry off. I feel like that really makes it usable multiple times. I don't see myself having to repurchase this unless one of these things gives out, and I don't think it was more than $5 or $6, but like it has just been perfect. So I feel like if you're somebody like me who doesn't lay flat and is a bit more active with your sheet mask and you're wanting to make sure it's a bit more secure, I feel like this is great for you. I really can't speak to the absorption properties that this claims to enhance with a regular sheet mask. I'm not preaching about that, but I really think it's more helpful for that person who has a busier sheet masking lifestyle like me. All right, guys, that is it for me and these favorites. I hope that you are taking good care of yourself during this wild stay-at-home time and that you're still doing things that relax you and make you feel good the way I am. I would love to know products that you are loving as of late, and I'll talk to you in my next video real soon. Bye.